Hi everybody. Remember your favorite car? Well, about 100 years ago, almost everybody's favorite car was the Model T. The last Model T rolled off the assembly line on this date, May 26, in 1927. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the Model T. In 1879, Carl Benz was granted the patent for an internal combustion engine, and he built his first Motorwagen in 1885, which you see here. The first gasoline-powered American car was the Duryea Motorwagen, made in Springfield, Mass. In 1893. Now, Henry Ford was quite a tinkerer, and he made his quadricycle in 1896. Now, interchangeable parts were quite common by the time we get to the late 1800s, early 1900s. We often associate interchangeable parts with Eli Whitney and other people who worked on rifles, so you could make a rifle cheaply. The issue for Ford was tool standardization, that all tools weren't the same. So he and a friend started the Society of Automotive Engineers in 1905, and you see the letters SAE on this wrench set, and that's still around today to make sure that a wrench is a wrench regardless of where you are. Henry Royce started making cars around this time too, but his were all made by hand. That's one reason why they were so expensive. So Ford saw Ransom Olds assembly line, and in Ransom Olds assembly line the workers moved. So Ford's idea was to have the workers be still and the car move. And that was his big innovation. And crucial to that, of course, is that all the parts are all the same. So you don't have to stop the assembly line to fix something. The other thing about the early Model T, it was pretty affordable. It was about $825. Today's money, that's about $23,000. He was a huge user of advertisement and really pushed the cars using the press. Now, at the same time that Ford was getting going on the Model T, John D. Rockefeller's Standard Oil Company had a worldwide monopoly on kerosene. And they were actually quite nervous about where they were going to have some new product. If you went around the world from Africa, Asia, South America, if you saw a kerosene lamp, it probably said Standard Oil on it. But then the internal combustion comes, and now they can sell gas. And gas stations start to show up. So as more and more people have cars, more and more issues arise. For instance, can a car share a road with a horse? And that was one thing police on bicycles had to deal with. How about directing traffic? You see the car wheel on the left, you see the horse on the right. How's a policeman going to do that? And then, of course, the inevitable issues about parking. Well, the Ford Model T had the record for car sales for 45 years, but it has been eclipsed by the VW Beetle, by the Toyota Corolla, and then also by the Russian Lada. Another thing that happened in the 1920s was the creation of the National Highway System. And Route 20, which goes not far from our house and ends in Newport, Oregon, is the longest highway in the country. And here's a sign from Newport, Oregon we took. So the Ford Model T, I think in retrospect, we can see everything that the car has done for our culture, but they, of course, didn't know that. It was all in the future. And that's one of the fascinations of history, isn't it? You just don't know what will happen.